At one point in my life, precisely when I was doing this discipline, well, I saw the world of man, I saw the forces that came before me and threatened me, that treated me in the mud, that explained to me who I was, that they were God, that they were the Father, and they showed it to me with a perversity, a superior intelligence. And you can't say anything, and you see that you belong to them. It's a very peculiar experience. And what saved me was that I was well prepared, that I was part of a tradition, that I came to earth to do this. It helps. And that I bowed before the angel and gave all the answers. I wish you a beautiful day. Tahimash Vehera is a song by our master Peter Donov. It means Tahimash Vehera and faith. In Bulgarian, Vehera, faith, is called Vera. There's an analogy with the French voir, Vera, to see. Vérité, vérité, voir, vrai are always the same letters, the V and the R. These letters were sacred to the Celts. We used to say Arvergne, Arvergne, the country of Vergne, Auvergne, R, the man, Vergne, Var is a French department. L'Aveyron, these are departments. Var, Vrai, the land of truth, the land of purity. Arvergne, true man, true man, true man. He who sees the truth, he who is pure of eye, he who is inhabited by the sun, by light. Vara, the holy land, the sacred land, the pure land, the land of light. Vara, the land of truth, where man walks in truth, in purity. Man is in purity of his eye and all his senses. He is the man of the sun, the man of light, the man who lives by light, the man who is noble, worthy, the man who is royal, the man who is proud of light, the man who is upright. This was fundamental to the Celts. Arvergne became Auvergne, but originally it meant Vara. And it's amazing that in Bulgarian we say Vera, faith, because you see, faith, to have faith, that is to have this inner strength of purity. It's not about believing, as Saint Augustine said, I believe because it's absurd. That's a perverse view of the mind. Saint Augustine was a great pervert and a great demon. A demon being a demon. And he polluted humanity. He's really a great miscreant. And then he was worshipped by Christians as a benchmark of Christianity. They didn't see the wolf entering the sheepfold. I believe because it's absurd. It means that intelligence has its limit. Intelligence has its limits. I can only understand what I understand, but what I don't understand, I can't understand. So I believe, and I give myself entirely to belief. And the more absurd it is, the more I believe, because it's beyond my intelligence. And I'm a limited being. So to claim to have knowledge would be to be proud. Can you hear the ideas behind it? And it's well brought out, it's perversion. It's really very well done to show that man must be humble, that man must bow down. And it's true that we must be humble. So it's so true. So it's really well brought out. So we end up turning a truth into an untruth, a lie, an absurdity. I think because it's absurd. And the more absurd it is, the more I believe. That's the theory. And everyone has stepped into it. We're a long way from the Celts. Auvergne, truth in my eye. I believe what I see. I'll only believe what I see. I believe what I see. And what I see is true. True sunlight. I believe in sunlight. True is the word of the good man. I believe in the word of man. True the wisdom of the sea and nature. There is wisdom in nature. I believe in nature's wisdom because I see it and because I know it's true, because I have all the senses inside me, but I will never believe in something that is absurd. I believe in reason. I believe in intelligence. I believe in celestial order, but I will never believe in absurdity. I don't believe in the Immaculate Conception, but I do believe in the Immaculate Conception. That is the pure conception of the Spirit, of the Holy Spirit, of beauty in speech, in thought. I believe in these things because I see them, and I see them because I train my internal organ to see them. So faith is this positive, creative force that comes from truth, from intelligence, and not from absurdity and stupidity. Because if I give my faith, my heart, to something that I haven't verified, that isn't true, that I haven't discerned, that I haven't brought into balance, in the end, I bring madness into the world, around me and within myself. And then all is lost. I have to believe in what I see. And with what I see, I believe in something greater than what I see. Because the visible is the proof, the manifestation of an invisible world. I use the visible world to go towards the invisible worlds. And do invisible worlds exist? Is it a phenomenon of faith? A man who speaks is proof of an invisible world. I can see it. I'm developing my subtle senses. I see more and more in finesse and nobility. Because stupidity is something that destroys. All that is fine, all that is noble, that makes one fanatical, that makes one sectarian, that makes one coarse and vile, men become assertive. They are no longer fine, they are no longer gentle, subtle, or refined. Then they can no longer move towards a world of intelligence. Intelligence means going for the subtle, the delicate, the fine. And faith means moving towards this world of ever greater finesse. So let's get this straight. Why am I telling you this? Because the whole world lives by faith. What makes worlds go round is faith. It's belief. What you believe comes alive. If you believe that stupidity rules the world, in reality, stupidity is nourished by your faith. Faith is creative. To seize faith is to seize your entire being, your life, your soul. Faith, you have faith, I have faith in things. So you don't have to be religious to have faith. We have faith in many things. We have faith in medicine, in democracy, in all kinds of things, in politics, in finance. We believe in the power of money. We believe in friendship. But deep down, we don't see. It's not an awakening. We have to wake up. There are tales and legends that say that when you stop believing in facts, well, they disappear. Well, that's so true. If you no longer believe in something, then those things no longer live. If you don't look at them, they fade away, because faith is linked to the eye, and the eye is the summit, as I told you, of the throne of Osiris, and let it happen according to your faith. Yes, but it's not blind faith. Let it be according to your eye, your intelligence, your soul. Where you set your heart, there is your home. Yes, but it's through he who is pure in heart will see God. He will see Him. He will see Him as intelligence, as wisdom, but never as stupidity. God is not nonsense. If we have intelligence, it's because the divine world speaks to our intelligence. It speaks to our heart. It speaks to the subtlety of our senses. And it awakens us. And it lights up the world like the sun. So I tell you, it really is faith that rules the world. That's why you have to look where faith is. Men say faith belongs to Christianity. No, I tell you it doesn't. You have faith in a whole lot of things. You'll have no other gods but me. You'll have no other gods but me. But who is this God? Because many can tell. Thou shalt have no other gods but me. But who is He? Is it just faith and you rest? Or do you see God? Is it possible to see God? Yes. Who sees me sees the Father. Who sees me sees the Father. But who has seen Him? Who saw Him? Where was their faith? Their faith was not in Jesus, because Jesus didn't meet their criteria for God. So they didn't see Him. They had criteria. They were in a faith in worlds that ruled them. And they couldn't see the Son of Light. Whatever they didn't see Him. Because it wasn't that they didn't see Him, it was that they didn't want to see Him. Because they weren't in it for themselves. And that's why when Jesus died, He said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. This word is so incredible. Because there's no worse condemnation, and on the other hand, there's no worse absolution. They're innocent, they're stupid, they believe because it's absurd. They believe in absurdities, they believe in nonsense, but they don't believe in that which brings light and delivers. They don't have eyes, they don't have ears, they don't have senses, they don't have bodies, they haven't been formed. And finally, when they don't see that they're murdering their worst enemy, their worst friend, and that in doing so for 2,000 years, they're going to suffer horribly. And look at history, 2,000 years of excruciating suffering. And look at where we are. We're no further ahead than we were at the time of Christianity. I'll tell you, it's even worse. If we're really honest and look at things with a clear vision, it's worse. It's worse than 2,000 years ago. We haven't gone for the better, we've gone for the better in appearance, in the mortal body. But in the subtle bodies, I tell you, it's worse. If you look, it's worse. So think about what I told you about faith. Look at where you've put your faith, i.e., your heart. Look at who your God is. You shall not take my name in vain. I can guarantee you that if you speak against democracy today, you're dead. You speak against the United States of America, I can guarantee you, you're evil. You will not take God's name in vain. There are some things you're not allowed to touch. You say certain words against certain states, against certain orientations, and you're very, very wrong. Because you don't have the right to pronounce the God of man's name in vain. And it's not the God, it's all our faith is based on. You really have to see it. So listen, it's very simple. I'm going to try to speak to you from the heart. I'm deeply happy with the work that's been done on the 5 senses. I know that some of you may be saying to yourselves, Olivier, that this teaching isn't easy, because sometimes you have the impression that you don't understand and that you've been left to fend for yourself, and that not everything has been done. I can assure you that everything is done within our means, and it's more complex than you can imagine. I'm really pleased with these 5 senses. It's a wonderful job we've done together. Now, I'm going to try to put the top floor down and try to explain to you what happens when you've made your 5 senses and what you have to do. But don't get me wrong, I can't give this teaching outside the Essene lodges, outside the round of archangels. Anyone who isn't in the archangelic circle or isn't in the Essene lodges isn't necessarily welcome to hear these things, or let them be humble, or accept the Essene's point of view. We Essenes exist, and we're entitled to our point of view on the world as long as we don't harm anyone. This principle is always good. That is, you must not harm anyone in life. It says, deliver us from evil. That means we try as hard as we can, because you understand that it's not easy, because you're always hurting someone, even if you don't mean to. It's not easy, so we have to do it. To avoid hurting anyone, it's important to understand that this teaching is intended only for Essenes who are walking a path. Let there be non-Essenes who listen to this teaching. The only way they won't be hurt is if they don't listen to it. Let them not listen to it. It's not meant for them anyway. So let this knowledge not touch them. It's only for Essenes. Do we agree? I think it's important. Otherwise, I can't talk to you. Do you understand? There are things I can't say. Now, I'm going to tell you things that are my own, that are my path. Because you can imagine that it's my way, somewhere. I'm just like you. I follow my path. I'm not... When I was 20, I didn't say to myself, Olivier, you're going to end up in a circle, joining the Essene Nation. I didn't say that to myself. I didn't say to myself that I was going to be there with you. I'm very happy. But I didn't make a plan. I took one step at a time, and my path has brought me here, to this seat today. It's quite a path that brought me here, but I didn't necessarily think it. I didn't necessarily want this path. I followed my own path. And what do you have in front of you? Basically, you have a being who is a magician, not a magician, I can't say the name, an occultist, a mage, a being who has practiced magic a lot. Basically, my path was magic. I am a being who has practiced magic, in the sense that I did a lot of magic when I was young. My path was individual. It never occurred to me to teach it. I never did it to show beings. And indeed, those who know me and lived somewhere with me, even when I was teaching, I taught, but I never talked about certain things, and I never told them. It was after several years that I began to tell them about the secrets of magic. I didn't want to talk about these things. I wanted to keep them to myself, not out of selfishness, but because I found it extraordinarily complicated to talk about all these things. You have to be prepared to hear that. You see, I was a disciple of Peter Donov and a disciple of Master Ombra Mikhaila Ivanov, but somewhere along the line I was making my own way. And what was that path? Well, this path was an asceticism that for 3 years, with periods of activity lasting 6 months, 6 moons, and periods of rest or practice and reflection lasting 6 moons, well, I sought to make contact with an angel. That's it. And from wanting to get in touch with this angel, well, I started seeing things. For example, I began to see that there were beings around me and within me who didn't want me to make contact with this angel. But really, I tell you, these 3 years have been 3 years of conflict and fighting. There really are beings who don't want us to go into the light. I'm telling you, it's clear, that's what I've seen. Then I saw that we were nothing, we men are nothing, nothing without the angels. Angels are life. It's man's purpose to have an alliance with an angel. I saw it because you have to give all the answers. You have to have all the answers, everything. You have to explain everything. You have to know who you are. You have to know everything inside you because these beings, they live inside you. So I spent some time with the angel, and once the angel appeared and the angel accepted, then these beings were forced to step aside. That doesn't mean they left. They remained in the shadows, hidden, waiting to trip me up. So I continued to live with this angel. And it's over the years that we've come to form the Essene Nation, because it was this angel who guided me. So progressively, I've tried by authorization from the higher worlds to lead beings towards the light. So here we are. Would you like me to try and explain? Well, listen. If I manage to explain it to you, it will be profoundly useful, not only for us, but for all Essenes.